Yo, assalamu alaikum. Maju, what's going on, buddy?
Not much. We got people, talking up in the in the chat, and it's hold on, guys, hold on. Ara's got to put his glasses on. He's serious for a
Can't
moment.
see, man. These old uncles, we can't see anymore. You know.
Oh man, at least I can still have my eyes. That's
Yeah. You know, that's what happens, man, when you become a grandpa. By the way, my team calls me grandpa, which it's okay. It's endearing.
Is it endearing or just calling you that grumpy old guy?
It's usually Adnan Gangat that calls me grandpa, but that's fine. Sometimes you have to carry your kids.
Oh man.
All right, buddy. So good to see you. Good to see everyone else here. Once again, Islam podcast, the recap of week number 6. We're supposed to have another panelist here. He's a little bit late getting in here, but hopefully he'll join. And no, it's not Foster. It's actually Omar Asawi. So, Omar, if you're out there, please sign in.
You would expect a principal to be punctual, but
Well, sometimes it happens. Life happens. What are you gonna do? So, Maju, how are you feeling, man? Like, I saw you on the bench or behind the scorekeeper's booth last week. You okay?
Yeah, I was just scorekeeping, and unfortunately was was on the receiving end of a hit and run. So just working off some sore muscles.
In the car or in the league?
No, it was in the car. Like, at least I was protected, but
okay.
So just working off some like sore muscles and just dealing with a little bit of issues here and there. So
okay. Well, hopefully you'll be ready to come back pretty soon.
Yeah, inshallah. Looking forward to it. I'm I only missed the first game. Just wanted to be there, but it's some things you just have to slowly work into.
Yeah. What's this? Who's this guy? Suleiman Khan. I want a full refund. Full refund for what, bro? This is free. You should be paying us. You can't get a refund for something that's free.
I don't know who this guy is. Like he's I don't know, man.
We want Foster. Yeah, of all the people who want Foster is Hamza Gaya. The irony behind that is not even funny. Anyways, so last week we had quite a bit of fireworks. Lots of goals being scored in a few games. So why don't we just jump right into it?
Yeah, sure. We're right at the halfway mark, so it's interesting to see how some things have shifted.
Yeah, so we had Team Yaqeen, your team, who have been undefeated thus far, but I think that streak came to a grinding halt with a 4-2 loss against Taqwa. And I got to say, my boy Maji was not in nets for this, so his record remains unblemished, untarnished, but nonetheless, your team took the loss.
Yeah, it's honestly, and it's not because of goaltending. I will say that right out. Mohammed Mughal stepped in to play for Taqwa for Yaqeen, my mistake. So I was away, and Mohammed Mughal was asked to jump in between the pipes, and he played amazing. He made some phenomenal saves. I have to give props where props are due. The tenacity of Yaqeen, just the constant back and forth, and I have to call out. Sorry, wow, I'm just like I'm all over the place. The tenacity of Taqwa, just just constantly going at it. I can't even say some words either. But what I do have to call out is Yaqeen's play. And unfortunately, I found that being in the scorekeepers, missing Ibrahim Siddiqui hurt them a lot. But it almost looked like they were waiting for the Siddiquis to take over the entire game. And it was a lot of walking around, not being first to the ball, a lot of ball watching. And you know what? Casentini started off the scoring. Then I think Safwan was right there shortly thereafter, and then some Abrar, and then of course, and last but not least, ended off the night with who was it? Rayan Khawaja.
Yeah.
So it was just firepower, but you have to really make sure you.
Yeah. Hey, Majid, just to interject, give me one sec. I think Omar's here, so we're gonna hopefully join him up. Omar, assalamu alaikum, man. Can you hear us? Nope,
Nope,
we can't hear you.
nothing coming.
All right, we'll leave him be there. He can figure out his technical difficulties for a second. But yeah, going back to the game, what do you think was different in terms of Takwa's game that they might have finally figured you guys out? Is it just because you said you were missing one of the not Suleiman's Siddiquis, or was it something else?
I don't know. Maybe it was too early of a game, to be honest. A
Hmm.
lot of the games we've played have been later games. So I don't know if that played a factor, if people had dawats to go that they went to, but there was just a lot of lethargy coming from Yakin side, a lot of
Yeah,
walking.
yeah.
We had a couple of players that were really tenacious and wanted to get to the ball and really play hard, but others were just like, yeah, someone will get it. Someone will be good. Oh, I think Omar, are we good?
Omar, you there?
I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
There we go. Finally.
Yes.
All right. Assalamu alaikum, guys.
We got part of the OG crew back. Hey, we need Ahmad on this thing. Then
I
we
think
have our
so.
foursome back.
I think so. It's good to be back. I apologize. It's been a while since I've had to set up this equipment. I actually don't think I've set my mixer up since the last time I was on the podcast. So it's seriously, it's all dusty and nothing was working. It's just, I was trying to set the thing up since 8. So I apologize.
No
I know
worries,
that
man. No worries.
The
Good to have you
viewers
on.
are probably eagerly awaiting my my analysis, but I'll jump in whenever you guys need me to. Just let me know.
Yeah, for sure. Mashallah, you sound good. You look good. It's all good.
All
So
right.
we're just tying up this game. So Maju, who are the stars here? I see Gangat, Alvi, and Samroda. Sorry, I can't see.
Safwan Samrodia.
Safwan.
Yeah, he's actually I think like York Phantom is kind of that area guy, and he's trying to make a name for himself. He's continually just persevering, really working hard towards making an impact in the game, and that's why Taqwa wanted him for a second season. I think his summer season was his first season, and he's making a name for himself. So it's good to see him on not only on the score sheet but on the 3 stars list too.
Good stuff.
I like Safwan. I like Safwan a lot. So Safwan was on my team in the summertime, and he is super, super underrated. One thing I will say is that he knows how to get in the right spot, but he is so hesitant to shoot the ball. Safwan, look at me. Shoot the ball. Okay? You'll be fine. But I actually caught the back half of this game.
Yeah.
It's important to note that, well, 2 things I observed. Number 1 is that Yakin was missing a couple of guys, which I don't know if you guys already mentioned, but also, and this is going to be a trend that we're going to see moving forward, is that Taqwa played Yakin very physical, especially the Siddiqui brothers.
Yeah.
And, when guys are running around and they're fast, the only thing you can do is try to, introduce some sandpaper. And so that's what teams are doing now. Right. And that's what teams are doing right now, like truculence, like you said. Right. And, unfortunately, sometimes that leads to guys, getting knocked to the ground, or into the goalie, or into the post, or into the boards. So we're going to try to keep it as clean as possible. But I think that is a trend that you're going to see for the back half of the season, is that teams are going to start playing Yakin a lot more physical because it's so hard to catch them.
Yeah, good point. Even when we played them the week before that, obviously we lost to them, but on several occasions near the end, we were bumping into them hard. Yeah, you're right. That's if you can catch them, if you can line them up, that's the only way to do it. And let's be very careful here as a message to everyone. We don't want people going around flying with elbows or anything crazy like that. This is not a full contact league. So that you can still bump the person. You can still go a little hard on the body. But if you miss them, they're going to be flying right by you.
Exactly.
All right, so let's go on to the next game. So the second game was Iman versus Sabr. So obviously I was in this one, but Maju, I'll go to you first. What did you see in this 2-2 tie?
Well, weren't both of you guys in it? Yeah, Omar's on Sabr too. Yeah.
So that's why I'm going to
impartial
first, and then we'll give each of our sides. So this should be a good one.
It was surprising to see that Iman actually was able to get onto the board. First and foremost, get on the board, not off the back of you, but second, at least have and get a 2-0 lead. Now that was the entire first period where 10 minutes in, they scored Then another couple of minutes later, Iman scored again to go up 2-0. But that just basically started going out the window. I don't know, and Arif, you might want to speak to this. What the heck happened? Because just a collapse happened, penalty after penalty after penalty.
Yeah,
and I think 2 power play goals from Suber led to them coming back and tying it.
Well, that's okay. So I'll go with my side, and then Omar, you can chime in with from Suber's point of view. So we needed the win. We needed to go hard, and honestly, we had probably one of our best periods ever, right? And to be honest, every week we seem to do well in the first period. It's the second half that catches up, like it did here. In this case, we had a game plan. We stuck to it. Went up on 2-0, and I think the first half of the first period, Suber barely left their zone. Right, we had them hemmed in completely, but then we took a penalty. Ahmed Khalid doing Ahmed Khalid things. He just chased Bablu around the zone, and Bablu, I think he's used to just Bablu being Adnan Gangat. He's probably used to running away and going around the net and losing his defender, but Ahmed Khalid is very tenacious, and I think he just kind of poked him, and that resulted in a 4-minute penalty. And that really killed our momentum. And it's at the tail end of that penalty that I think Tayyab took a slapper from just inside the red line, and it was a great shot, and it hit the top corner. I asked Yasser if he didn't see it or whatnot, but no, he said he saw it. It wasn't deflected, just a clean shot. And after that, that's where things went downhill for us.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're pretty bang on right there. Suber has this really bad habit of coming out very slow. Like we just don't. We have a lot of trouble finding our legs and also getting organized. You'll notice if you've ever seen a Suber game is that everybody is just running around with their heads cut off. Like chickens with their heads cut off for the beginning of the game. And then Farouk Khan has to yell at everybody and then they settle down, right? That's typically what the recipe is, right? And then one of the things that I will say, though, is that Suber is a no-quit team. Yeah. And so we've gone down and played from behind more often than not this season, but we don't stop playing. And that is usually because Farouk Khan is yelling at us. And so, my assessment is that yes, both goals I believe were scored on the power play. Yeah. So Iman's discipline issues did not help them at all. And part of Ahmed Khalid's allure is that he will get under your skin.
Yeah.
And whether you like it or not, right? And whether you think it's clean or not, but I mean he will get under your skin, and he'll make you do something really, really dumb, and then you'll probably regret it, on the scoreboard later on.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. And the ironic part is many people in our locker were like, hey, you got to get Ahmed Khalid riled up. He takes penalties, which he does, right? But in this case, the roles were reversed. And even the second goal that we got scored against, that was also on the power play. So if we had to take something good out of this, I would say that 5-on-5, we played really well, but you can't keep taking penalties and expect to win. And one more point before I go to Maju on this is it was great to see Hamza Ali putting up a really, really strong performance. I know a lot of criticism, a lot of pressure is on his shoulders as the first pick or not overall, but for our team. He really played like a star. Got some posts, had some really good rushes and whatnot. So definitely deserved the second star there.
So my first year playing in the league, I played with Hamza Ali and Daoud. And I don't know, I mean, he's not old, but I don't know if it's an age thing, but his recipe for getting on the scoreboard was really like chip and run. Yeah. And I just don't see a lot of that this season. I don't know if he's nursing injury. I don't know if, what's going on, but also I don't think the team is playing a strategy to his strengths. Right. And so he's the type of guy, like you get the red, you ring it around, he'll get it for you. And usually he'll get there way quicker than the other defenseman. And then he's by himself with the goalie. That is what I've observed of Hamza Ali in the time that I played in this league. And so I do think that Iman is probably not adjusting their strategy for the strength in the player that they have. But then also, I don't know. It just appears to me that Hamza's playing with a little bit of hesitancy, and I don't know why.
Maju, what do you think of Hamza not shooting? Because that's been something that people on the team and outside the team have kept saying. He gets into nice slot areas where he should be shooting, and he passes it off. what do we have to do to get this guy to shoot? Because he's got a pretty decent shot.
He does, and he also hasn't played. You know, the rumors, and of course I don't know the details, but he hasn't played since Salam Cup or since the Greenbirds played Salam Cup. So that's almost a year plus over. Yeah, he's definitely not taking the chances that he normally would have. He, not trigger happy or just taking those shots. But like Omar said, there is a portion to it that you would have previously seen, and Huzaifa playing with Hamza. Huzaifa would have taken it, just shot it down one board and given it right to Hamza. But you also see Hamza, when he has the ball, he's double clocking it, just holding it, just trying to deke a guy, trying to blow past. He doesn't know what he's doing, unfortunately. He hasn't made up his mind. And in years past, he would just be, okay, I know I'm getting the ball. Wherever I'm getting it, I'm going to chip it, whether it's to the corner, or I'm just going to chip it a little bit and let my legs do the thing. So I don't know if he's got a hamstring injury or what he's nursing, but I'm totally in agreement with Omar that is that what's limiting him for his full functionality?
No, ironically, we're sort of dumping on him on the night that he actually played really, really well. So let's not take away from that. He and I were on the same line, and we had two centers. So every time we had Huzli on as a center, the three of us, when we were on, I don't recall us being scored on. Like, we were in their zone most of the time. So there's some hope here. Hopefully it sticks around. But I want to move on to the next game because we got quite a few things to cover here. All right, so wow, this game, I saw part of it, and I was in awe.
Oh boy,
Reds offense. Omar, oh boy, tell us about it. 6-1.
So hold on. So let me just get this out of the way. I know he's not a star. Omar Farouk Daya is not a star on this game right now.
Yeah.
But he is the magic man for Isan. He scored coming in a few games coming into this game. I think 2 or 3 straight weeks.
Yep.
And the man shows up. He's changing in the bench in the what's it called, the penalty box.
Mm-hmm.
And within 10 seconds of him getting there, they score on the first power play. So I think there's some mojo going on, and Umar Farouk might actually have some good vibes for the team.
Even Farouk Sani, he was telling me, when we were walking to the car in the parking lot, he's like, the most underrated player on their team is him. Like Daya, he's their sort of spark plug and leads that second line and really gives the first line so much more power. But Omar, back to you on this. So 6-1. What do you think?
I mean, the score speaks for itself. But what I will say is that there are some high quality hockey players. Look, let's put this in perspective, okay? Ali Wadi and Rizwan Khaler have GM together a few seasons now and have not found any meaningful success. In fact, I believe one year they missed the playoffs altogether, right? And so what I'm observing is that, number one, the recipe of this, like if you look at their top 5, whether they're defensemen or not, right? Mm-hmm. But you look at someone like Daoud, like Sani, like Wasim, Rizwan, Ali. These are, well established hockey players. And like even Riz had an end, like he took a pass from Wasim, and then he looked like he turned the clock back like 20 years. Okay. And it was just an amazing, beautiful goal to see. One other thing I will say is that Daoud has looked like a very angry hockey player the last few seasons. This season, just an angry person, right? Like angry.
We'll call him Angry Bird.
Yeah. Right. But he looks like he's having a lot of fun this season.
Yeah.
Right? Like Daoud is actually smiling on the floor. He's not yelling at anybody. He's not throwing his hands up. And so what I will say is that everybody seems to be doing their job. Mm-hmm. And one of the weaknesses of Daoud's teams in the past, when he didn't have Omar Abdullah on his team, was defense. Yeah. And it seems like Ali Wadi is playing defense and he's stabilizing that for them. And I think Ali Wadi even played a full game on defense already. And
Farouk Sani plays defense on this team, which is surprising. Normally he doesn't like to, but he said to me that he actually enjoys playing D here. He just looks for a moving Vauda and he hits him. And the goals they scored were actually really beautiful. Like I think one of the goals, Sani passed it from his blue line to a cutting Vauda who just tipped and did a touch pass to Rizwan, and it was in the net, right? Like they were nice goals. They were not garbage goals. So they're really chugging along.
And this team is going to be a very difficult team for anyone to handle, especially if they meet them in the playoffs, right? And so I do think that, a bias aside for Subber, I do think that this is probably the team to beat in our league right now.
Now, I do have to say, as much as respect that we want to give to Hassan, and right dutifully so, that they won this, and I am correcting myself that yes, Umar Frukta is not on the 3-star, but he did also get a goal this game again. But right off the bat, you're not going to win a game when within 5 minutes you take a penalty and the other team scores on power play. So the first 2 goals for Hassan were power play goals. So that's already putting you down the hole in the hole, and they were down 2-0. They managed to get after 3-1 and 4-1, they finally found Hassan was able to come back. But to be honest, there wasn't a lot of good things to say about it. Ikhlas, Hassan just dominated through and through. However, I will say this: 2 shining spots that I did see for Ikhlas were Salman Alvi and Omar Malik. These guys were, regardless of what the score was, they were playing hard until the very end. And I'm really taking a liking now to Omar Malik. Like he's a guy who's struggled to find his rhythm. He's struggled in a lot of teams, always getting the low line minutes. But in this team, he somehow has found something, and I just hope he continues to nurture that, because he's been able to get a lot of or make a decent impact on his team. And yes, he's not scoring, he's not putting up like superstar numbers, but he's finding his game, and I hope he's finding the enjoyment for the game.
Two things I want to say. First of all, Salman Alfi, that's a great name you brought up, because I've played with him for a long time, and I gotta agree, he's always 100%. He gives it all, right? He still has a lot of hockey left in the tank. He's got a great shot. I wish he would use it even more. But yeah, so that's one point. And the other one I want to show you guys here, looking at the stats. Let me just switch screen here real quick. Where are we? Here we go. This is
league stats.
Yeah.
Holy.
No, this is not league stats. This is just Ihsan's stats. If you look at their points, they have a lot of scorers, even outside of the top 5, right? Like, look, even
everybody has something.
6, like 3, 2, 1. Like they're pretty much scoring in a collective way, right? And even from a goals perspective, right? Everyone has 6, 4, 3. So yeah, it's easy to say that it's the top 5 guys getting it done, but no, it's a full team effort. So that's kind of what you need to hear. Wow. All right, moving on to this game. So this was Rida versus Haya. Haya is another team that's been asking themselves to try to get it out of the basement. They had a good game last week where I think they also got a tie, but they felt like they just turned a corner and they were just coming out and hopefully getting a win. But looks like, again, another tie. Yeah, they get a 1 point, but it's a tie. Omar, what do they have to get done to get a W?
So we played Haya, I believe it was last week, and so look, they're a really good team. It's just, again, prototypical Akib Luke type draft team, right? You put your construction hat on, you go to work, right? And that's about it. What they're not finding is they're just not finding a way to match the speed of other teams. Speed is killing Haya right now, or teams that have speed are killing Haya right now. They have a lot of very smart hockey players, but the minute that they turn it over, it just goes back the other way so quickly that it's really tough. Like I'm seeing, like Luke, he is spending a lot of time on the ground, right? Just trying to cover for the other defense partner who's just not where he needs to be. And so what I think that Haya needs to do is, number one, figure out how to play better positionally. But then also, like, Iman Khawaja, from what I understand, is probably scoring the bulk of their goals as well. And I'm not sure that should necessarily be happening, right? I have to take a look at the stats, but I know he scored against us and he scored again this game. Oh, there you go. Right. And so Hussein Malik is up there.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And so I would say you probably want some more out of Souf. And the GMs.
Boy, Hamza Gaya, he's there too. 2 points. But two things. One, Imad Khawaja being at the top, getting the most goals and tied for points, to me, that's not surprising because, mashallah, he's always been a tremendous player. The last 2 games, he's played really well, right? The other one before that, I think he got 2 goals. He was all over the place. So 2 games in a row where he's been a star, that's a great look for Haya. Hussein Malik, I think finally the brother, after taking so much crap from everyone, looks like he's settled into a solid season here. He's actually scoring. He's going in hard like a power forward should. And Suf, I guess he's only played 3 games, so 4 points in 3 games. That's still very productive of him. Maju, what do you think of Haya's game here?
It's good to see. Okay, yes, we have some scoring across the board, but they're just not scoring enough, right? You're not going to win when you literally score. I think you have they have the second lowest goals for, and they have 14 goals for, 17 goals against. So you're not going to win games giving up more than you take. It's just not rocket science. Yeah. You have a good goalie in Hamza Butt in net. But I have to say, for both these teams this week, they were missing players. So Haya was missing Paul and Arsal, and Rida was missing who was it? Abdullah and Bully. So they're the first pick, Bulbulia. Mm-hmm. So it would have been a challenging game for both, and Altaf and the other GM can't. I think Kazi just they can't do everything when they're missing their supporting cast. But we know that there was a GM on Haya that's also nursing an injury, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But they both, Rida's third in the standing, Haya's near the bottom, so they have to find something. They have to find that tenacity that they've been known for, and find a way to do something. And you spoke about Hussein Malik, very similar player from. And I'm just spacing on a player now, but just a grind them out player, right? And definitely irks the team enough. And Ahmed Khalid is the other one. Just they use their veteran and know-how to draw the penalties, and Hussein can do that. That's great. But this season he is getting on the scoreboard, but that's not enough, right? He can draw people to him. He can do the dirty work, but Suf and others have to find a way to draw people towards them. So it can be a collaborative effort. So it sucks that both teams just can't find a way to score more. But I think they just need to get the attendance going.
Yeah, Omar, I want to draw your attention to this. In the second period, Haya had 16 shots. That means Yusuf Kapoor faced 16 shots. And did they actually score on second half?
I think it's at the top. Go on.
Oh, is it? Okay.
In the second half,
they just scored.
So there's a reason why Kapoor is one of the best goalies in the league, and he got the second star here.
One of the best goalies in ball hockey, guys. Right now, saying that, we'll put some respect on Yusuf's name. But if you look at the Rida shots, and I had to plug my laptop in, that's why I had to step away. But what is that? 3 shots?
Yeah. You got.
It's Summer Rida all over, or is it Summer Rida or Summer Yakin? But whatever, it's Summer Altaf Panchadi's team all over again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, they got 3 shots and they scored 1 goal, right, on the 3 shots. But I'm just saying, like, what is that, guys? Like, how are you going to win a game with 3 shots? So wasn't it another game they had 1 shot in the second half recently in this season? And
I believe so. Yeah.
So you guys, no team can win if you what did Wayne Gretzky say? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And so, Abdullah, I can see you're here, man. Do something.
He's here, but he's not on the floor. So that's something to talk about there.
I wonder, is it because they're giving up shots to make that perfect play? A lot of times you're in the slot or you have that shot, but you just dish it away trying to make the pretty play. I'll be honest, I haven't seen a lot of their games in its entirety, but when you don't have as many shots and you're still kind of in the game, to me, that's what it sounds like.
I'll be honest with you. I don't remember the exact specifics, but I think they were shooting. They were trying to do whatever they could to get, because as a scorekeeper, and then because I did it in the summer too, I know Altaf, and Altaf immediately, like halfway through or even halfway through a period, he'll turn around and ask me, what are the shots? So he's always keeping an eye on it. And I think just Haya was they had a little bit of kind of a rebuild passion. Haya's goal was questionable just because there was an offside that was not called,
Yeah.
depending on who you speak to. But that's what lit. So Rida had a question, like should have been offside, but it wasn't called, and Haya was, PO'd right after, and then that led to a goal immediately. I think less than a minute after. So, and after that, I think it just things settled down. So I don't know. Really, I don't know what to say more about that, but it was just, that's the only way I think either team would have scored.
Yeah, one last thing here, Abdullah Patel. I think outside of Islam, I heard that he recently got a shot to the face and
a stick. I think a stick
or a shot. I don't know yet, but
Yes.
apparently he broke his nose. So we wish him well. We wish him a safe and speedy recovery.
And get a cage or a fishbowl.
Yeah, so I can't recall if I mean he's here. Abdullah, do you typically wear a visor or a cage? But again,
he has a visor, not a full face.
Okay. Yeah, guys, that don't go without some.
I think I say this every year that I'm on the podcast. Those guys that play without any eye protection whatsoever I don't know, man. Like, unless you guys have some secret Islam contract where you're getting paid to play, you guys should protect your eyes.
For sure. All right, Hamza Gaya. One last shout out to him. He played actually really well. 4 checks really hard. We just got to teach him to stay on his feet. The joke is like every time he's on, he's like, "Is he gonna fall this shift?"
Hey, he didn't.
Well, he's
fall
so
this
fast.
Yeah, he didn't fall this game because last time when he fell close to my net, and then every time he does, he's always sliding, so he burns through his leggings. But this week, he didn't fall. I don't think he fell.
Leggings.
Okay, now you're gonna.
It may be compression, but
I'm just saying, man. I don't know. I thought they were compression tights, but
no, he had a great game. So he's having a pretty good season there too. All right. So speaking of good seasons, Vauda, clearly the first overall pick, and shows why. And this last game, he's what was it, 3 or 4 points he got? So player of the week once again. Typically we have a video. I can't see it. It's so tiny, man.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so like typically we have a video, and he was not able to present the video because he's not feeling very well. So again, we wish him a speedy recovery on this. Maju, the right pick here.
Yeah, the stats prove it. He's been, maybe other than a couple of other players, possibly like Rayon's had a couple of really good games, but hands down, I think Wasim has been the right pick, the right choice. He draws players towards him. He can dictate a game. He also listens. That's the true mark of a phenomenal player. Is he'll listen to leadership, but he'll also let people decide, and he'll kind of play in that system. So just a phenomenal player, and he just shows it day in, day out, and his tenacity, his hard work. Whether it's in a Salam Cup, in a large tournament, or in a league like this, and doesn't matter who he's playing with, right? With a homegrown team or with a draft league, he still shows up on the scoreboard every single day.
I think we've obviously seen him play many years. He looks a lot more poised than other seasons. Not to say that he's not usually, but many of the previous seasons I've watched him, he's usually like, trying to overdo it, running too fast past it, or just taking shots when he doesn't need to. But this year, looking at his game, he's making the right pass, he's making the right shot, stick handling when he needs to. He's just very, very efficient with his game. And this is one thing that I'm really noticing him. I think he's turned another corner in his abilities as a hockey player.
I think that the opportunity that the Thorncliffe, the young stars they had when they played provincials, and then they won Salam Cup, that 1 year, was it last year or the year before, where basically they won everything. I think that was immense growth for all of them, right? Because when you have to go to provincials and you have to play like really good teams, you have to completely change your game. You can't just ball hog it, right? And I think they learned a lot from those opportunities and those experiences. And one compliment that really I have to pay to Wasim is that I saw him slap shot a bouncing ball with like this much space between him and the defender, and he still got it on net.
Yeah.
Right. And so he knows how to play hockey, which I think is an established point of this, established understanding at this point. But, kudos to him. He's a treat to watch. Like, I would stay the game after to watch him play.
For sure. And last thing on him, I don't think he wears a visor either, nor does he wear shin guards. Kids, don't try that at home.
Yeah.
All right. We spoke a lot about Haya, and unfortunately, another injury. Our good friend Akib Malik, Cornelia GM here, he's out. I think he has a foot injury or whatnot. But out goes Akib, and in comes another superstar, Maz Haq.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Omar.
No, go ahead.
Okay,
go
so
ahead.
I'm really sad to see Akib missing any games. Really, he's a great guy, just through and through. No matter if you're playing against him or with him, and he's transitioned from being a forward to more playing defense, and he'll play wherever he needs it.
He's the Bergeron of Iceland.
Exactly. Now, the fact that Maz Haq is jumping in and the way the season has been going, it's a phenomenal upgrade for them. Just in the fact of Maz is just a different level of a forward, right?
Yeah.
Akib has been playing defense. So I think this is something that Haya has been looking for, and this should round out their forwards a lot more. And Maz can distribute, but also he can snipe, and he's proven that in seasons past. So it'll be interesting to see that, yes, they had 21 shots in the last game, but now some of those shots will actually turn into goals rather than relying on anger to turn into a goal. And Maz is very calm and composed compared to not to Akib, but Akib does get very passionate out there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But just to Haya in general, Maz is the polar opposite of just very calm, cool, and it's going to be good to see him back.
The question for both of you, first, Omar, when you're on D and you see a line of Emad Khawaja, Maz Haq, and Souf coming down on you, what do you do?
I say line change, Farouk, you got this one. No, but look. So what I will say, and again, as a defenseman and somebody who maybe appreciates the defensive side of the game, a little bit more than most people, is and I won a championship with both of these guys. I won one with Maz in the summertime, and I won one with Akib in the fall, way back when, right? And so I've had the experience of playing with both of these guys, and you have to take into account the massive decrease in defense that you're going to be getting with Akib's exit. Mm-hmm. Right. So Maz is a phenomenal forward. He's a sniper. He's a playmaker, but he is not a Bergeron.
Yeah.
Right. He is, he's someone that will do his job, in the front half of the court, if you will. Whereas Akib does the job the full 200, feet, if you will. So it's going to be interesting to see. I know we mentioned that Akib was playing some shifts on defense, but it's going to be interesting to see if the added firepower up front can compensate for what they're inevitably going to lose on the defensive side.
So Maju, with the Bergeron gone, who fills that void now from this roster? And I'm pulling up Haya here. Who in your mind can step up and be that defensive forward that they're going to miss from Akib?
Unfortunately, Arsenal might have to play back. And unfortunately, he's missed a lot of games too. Arsenal's got to show up, but he'll play. I think he might have to play back. But the resourceful, the multi-talented, the legend himself, Imran Lukenpal, right? I don't see why he couldn't step up and play that. He's played goalie already. He's played forward already. Why not play defense and just and round it out? Right, but we could be surprised too, right? We don't know the entirety of someone like Yusuf Bangash if he plays forward or D, and then really what he brings in a different position. Sadiq Jassat, Omar Wasif.
Let me put something crazy out there, guys. Okay, and it's not even crazy because I have an eye for these things, and I'm usually right. The person that could do this job, should he choose to accept the mission, is Hamza Gaya. Hamza
Gaya. I thought you were going to say Abdulaziz Khan, maybe.
No.
He is maybe, but
Hamza Gaya can run.
True.
He has stamina. He has speed. What he needs to do is keep both hands on the stick and stay on his feet.
Yeah.
Okay, and then he can do the job.
Loosen those
Right?
leggings a little bit.
Yeah, right. Loosen the leggings. But I'm just saying, I think he's someone that can not replace Akib.
No.
But I'm saying he's someone that can play the full 200 feet. Right.
Yeah.
I don't think our arena's 200 feet, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And so he can keep up with anybody. Right. Both hands on the stick, play them hard, and then take your shift back to the bench. I think he can do it.
Yeah.
I would love to see him try. I'd love Luke to give him the chance, but I think he can do it.
Well, before we leave off of this topic, I think Luke, we're not used to seeing him play 5 games and only have 1 point, 0 goals. Arcel, I know he's only been there for 4 games, but another guy with 0 zeros across the board. Like, these are your top 2, like 2 of your best players, right? They need to also produce. So yeah, they have the personnel. They just gotta get it together now. All right. Again, I apologize. My screen is really small here. I can't see fully. Maji, you're gonna have to run this one. What are we looking at here?
So we're just looking at the standings, and the regulars already know what we're looking at. So we have Yakin in first, then Isan. So Yakin with 5 wins, Isan with 4, Rida with 2, Takwa, and they have 7 points. Takwa with 6 points, tied with Ikhlas, but Takwa owns the win. And then we have Sabr with 4 points and only one win. Haya and Iman with 0 wins each, but Haya has 4 points, and Iman just struggling. The goal differential is -11 too. So
yeah,
just laying it out there, right? But Omar, correct me if I'm wrong. First of all, only 6 teams get in.
That's correct.
But it's wins first and then goal differential.
Wins, and then head to head, and then goal differential.
Yeah, I can read it here. So it's points, goals for. Actually, no, sorry, I'm reading the wrong thing. No, I'll.
No, that's on the website. It's in the GM deck, right? Yeah. Points. It's supposed to be points head to head and then goal differential. If it's an unbalanced season, which I think it is, it's usually wins. Sorry, points, wins, goal differential, and then goals against is the last tiebreaker.
Right.
And if it's still tied, it's Longa's beard.
So don't shave.
So Seuss is gonna win that anyway. So
this is crazy for Iman. Again, being my team here, we only have 9 goals, and you cannot expect to have any kind of success in any hockey at any level if you're scoring 9 goals in 6 games. That's just unheard of.
Sure, but if Iman wins their game tomorrow,
and
Sabr does not win their game tomorrow, then all of a sudden Iman is in a playoff spot.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not like it's not all hope is lost. And by the same token, is that if Sabr wins and Takwa, they could leapfrog Takwa, right, for their spot if they beat Takwa. So it's still a lot of movement to be had. And so I wouldn't say anybody should throw in the towel or like blow up the team. Like, we know that Huzaifa gets the itch when he's not performing well, and then all of a sudden, 10 people that he drafted are on different teams.
When is the trade deadline again?
It's coming up. I believe the trade deadline is the first week of November.
Half the season's gone. He hasn't made any moves. So
yeah,
I know in his team, but I think there was a lot of talk after the game. I kept seeing GMs all over the arena, talking and having these little huddles.
So when there's 4 games left in the season, the trade deadline happens. When there's 3 games left in the season, the drop deadline happens. So we're in game 6. So we have 2 more games to play before the trade deadline.
Interesting.
Perfect. That's good to know.
Okay. Omar, why are you on this poster?
I don't know. And this is a long time ago.
So we're advertising. We're looking for a scorekeeper. It is a paid position. So if you know anyone that has even a little bit of experience, I think it's appreciated.
Or willing to learn.
Or willing to learn it. Absolutely, right? So we'll help. We have Zoom, myself, Ahmed Mobeen, Ahmed Ibrahim. We have folks that are willing to teach and spend the time. But as long as someone's willing to come out, spend the 4 hours.
I gotta say, when you say it's a paid position, it's paid by the league, not that they accept payment from players to put knuckles all over your names, right? It's not that kind of a paid position.
Hey, I've tried to pay for an extra to score a goal or have a goal less against it. Doesn't work. So
no, but for sure, if people can join, you're more than welcome to. I would love to have you guys help us out. And the best part is you get to hang out with Maju.
What? I'm in net. I don't stay there.
Maybe that's why you have to pay.
All right, little advertising for next season. I know we're only halfway through, but hey, it's never too early to talk about next season. Omar.
Yeah, so we're going to be launching registration, I believe, next week, and we are anticipating a lot of interest in the winter season, mostly because we don't have any games in Ramadan, where a lot of guys don't like to play in other leagues and miss 4 games. This year, it looks like it might be like 5 games that would be if you factor in Eid, right? So. We are expecting a lot of interest, and last season we actually had enough to have 10 teams in the winter season, and we had to turn away pretty much 25 or 26 guys. So when it launches, if you're interested, fill the registration form, make sure you pay the fee along with it, and we're looking forward to a very competitive winter season.
And from what I hear is there's going to be a lot of high-level GMs coming back next season, inshallah.
Yeah, we're anticipating a very competitive season skill-wise, from the GMs all the way down to the draft pool. So, and we're excited about that.
Yeah, but that's not to say that if you don't feel like you're one of the skill players that you shouldn't join. If anything, you should, because that's how you learn, right? That's how you get better.
And for the guys who are wishy-washy on, I should sign up. Honestly, I'm sorry, but for some of the guys, no one's going to reach out to you to make sure you're going to sign up, right? Just sign up if you have any inclination of playing, right? It like Arif said, we have a lot of talent coming in, and a lot of those guys will be working with younger guys and less skilled guys to develop that, right? So that's the idea of Islam, is that, again, it's a one brotherhood league, but we help each other, and there's players that have helped me to better my game, and I could probably speak for Arif and Omar too. Like, we help each other and we talk it out, right? It's
for sure.
And the game is in the game, but
a little PSA to people out there. There are some folks who think that, well, I'm a pretty good player. They're going to have the league will be lucky to have me, so they're going to hold a spot for me. I'm sorry, but we've had a lot of really, really good players who missed out because they signed up, but they were lazy to pay, and you snooze, you lose.
Yeah, or they didn't sign up at all. Maybe they send Habibi or I a text message and say, "Hey, I want to play the season," and we tell them what to do, and then they don't do it, and all of a sudden, like, "Oh man, I missed out." Yeah, you missed out. So, Islam waits for no man.
Well said.
What we will wait for is tomorrow's games. So with that, I know we're already at 40.
I don't think this is right.
No,
this is October 3rd.
You're right. This might be.
Wow. Yeah.
One, but you know what? That's fine. I can.
I apologize for that.
Hamza Gaya put up a comment here. I don't know if we can put it on the screen.
Which one?
He says, "I don't like D," and so
I am assuming he means
defense. Playing defense.
Well, yeah, no, I think he misunderstood. I was suggesting that he plays center.
Yeah,
so he can play the offense.
No, I think he means he doesn't like playing defense. Not a defense.
Oh, like he doesn't like playing in the back half of the. Oh man, I can't imagine that comment's gonna go over well with his GM.
Oh, you just got opened up here.
He might have to play the bench.
All right. Let's see. Can you see this one?
I can. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
That's perfect.
So, oops. Here we go. So first game is going to be at 8:00. Iman versus Rida. Everything that needs to be said about Iman has been said. We suck. We can't score. We need to score. We need to play a whole 2 period.
But we just said some similar stuff about Rida. So
yeah. But hey, they have more points than us.
So I guess we'll see who has the most shots in this game, and then go from there.
The X factor, as always, will be Kapoor, because listen, we can't score, let alone score on one of the top goalies. So this doesn't bode well for us.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to whoever comes ready to play. 8 p.m. games are not easy for guys to get into for whatever reason. Some guys are coming straight from work. Some guys are coming from far. And so I think that the team that is able to get organized and come ready. Like I find when I have an 8 p.m. game, the guys that play the worst are the guys that are getting ready on the bench.
Yes.
And so I think that whoever comes ready to play is going to win this game.
That's always what it is. I mean, Ahmed Mobeen says it all the time, right? If you recall, we had interviews with other players before, and one of the comments was like they come 15, 20 minutes before the game starts just so they can get into the game mindset, right?
Yeah,
For sure.
All right. Game number 2 at 9 o'clock is Haya versus Ihsan. Maju, what's going on here? Do you think Haya's finally going to get their win?
This is going to be a tough one. I'm just going to give it to Isan. Had like right off the bat, Hamza, but is going to have a tough time in net for
Mhm.
Haya. Right, he's a big body. He likes to be peppered, I think, and he has a great glove hand, but just just the tenacity, the aggressiveness of Isan, and that they can put up 20, 30 shots easily, and I think
Yeah.
they did against Yakin when we were facing them. It's hard to stop, and I believe Haya is still going to be trying to figure out with that GM change of who's playing where. They're still going to be figuring out a little bit of nuances, and unfortunately, it's just at the worst time possible.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Haya gets their first win here because of the Maz factor. Having played with Maz many times, this brother is a game changer. That's one. And number 2, my boy Hamza Gaya, he's going to show why he doesn't need to play D.
I don't know. I think that Haya is probably less equipped to handle a high-scoring, high-octane team like Ehsan now, having lost Akib. And so, we're not going to know until we see the game.
Sure.
But I don't think Ehsan's going to roll over Haya like they did last week against Ikhlas.
Yeah.
But I don't know that Haya is going to be able to handle all the firepower if it's all there.
I think if Haya has all their players, including Arsal and everyone showing up, they're going to put up a good fight, because I think, and I'm going to, it's a big if, Ihsan has a better top 5, I would say. Even that you could argue. But I think Haya, when everyone shows up, they have more depth.
I agree. So when when you have your second, third line guys out there, I don't want to say pound for pound, but skill for skill, I think that you have, Haya has a bit of an edge there. I agree.
Maju, you're going to get fed some GC burger if they win.
I think I owe them.
No, I think he wants GC burger.
Okay.
Maju lives in the East End. He's not concerned about GC burger.
I've never been to GC, man. I don't know what I'm missing.
All right, fine. Hamza, if you guys win, you owe me a GC burger because I hyped you up so much.
There you go.
All right. Let's make this real quick, guys. Taqwa and Sabr. I'll just go to one each here on this one. Sabr, Omar, what's going on here? You guys are going to beat Taqwa, even though they're coming off defeating the juggernaut white team?
Look, I think with the introduction of Mohib, they've become a very different team, right? Omar Mahmoud brings a different aspect to the team than Mohib does, right? And Mohib's one of those guys that can really tip the game by himself. And so I think the key is going to be to really shutting him down along with Abrar Gangat. Those two seem to do a lot of damage. And also Asif Bika, right? So if they're all there, it's all 3 guys who can put the ball in the net. And so the defense is going to have their handful. I think that the center is going to really have to make an effort to support the defense. The winger is going to have to help, the breakout. But I wouldn't put it past Sabr to maybe take advantage a little bit on the line change or the second, third line. Our third line has been phenomenal, by the way.
Yeah.
Right. So, those guys have actually scored a couple of goals. Omar Sadat, right? He's been a beast, right? And so I think that we shouldn't put it past Sabr to be able to squeak out this win, but it's all really is going to come down to whether or not we can contain their top guys or not. And if we can't, then it might be another result like last week.
On the topic of Mohib, real quickly, I know last podcast Foster was quite critical of him, and guys, Foster's joking around. Don't take stuff that he says overly seriously, but regardless, I think Mohib really took some of those as fuel, like that documentary says, he took it personal, and he's stepped it up even more. So you're right, Mohib coming to that team has really transformed it. If he keeps up that pace, would it be too early to say that he might have a vote for MVP if he can keep that up? Too early to say, but I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, he'll have to fight like half the Hassan team for that award.
All right, last game, Yakin versus Ikhlas. First of all, Maju, are you going to be in this game, or you're still nursing an injury?
I'm still up in the air. I want to play. I want to get back to it, but it's just I keep on the fence, off the fence right now. So it'll really be a game time decision.
Well, whether you show up or not, what do you have to, or what does your team have to do to bounce back? I know you guys have had a really good season, but you took your first loss. How you react to your first loss shows a lot about your team. So, well, what do you think is going to happen there?
Yeah. You can always leave it to the old man to give some very wise words. So I think we'll be able to bounce back. It's just now keeping up with Eclas, right? Eclas is a loss that they weren't expecting. They thought they would also have a strong win, and they've been rolling quite easily over quite well. Let's just say they've been rolling their lines and everything well. But I think it's good to get the first loss out of the way, because you're a little bit humble. Not to say that any of the guys from Yakin were bragging or anything like that. I think the GMs have done a really good job of just keeping everyone in check and keeping their expectations and keeping their eye on the ball. But it's it's going to come down to I think we're missing Dawood Siddiqui again. Ibrahim. He's out of the country, so that's a hard pill to swallow. And if Yakin's missing any more players, then it has to be a group effort to actually wake up and come together, right? They can't be walking around like they did last week, because Eclas, under the leadership of Essen Zaidi, it's just going to have a field day. And Yusuf Zaidi and Mikhail Zaidi are just their big firepower in front, and it's going to be hard to contain them if Yakin doesn't come awake. So
Omar, is there something Eclas can take out of a page book from Taqwa and see what they did to beat Yakin and use the same playbook?
So again, I think I said at the beginning, as cleanly as possible, you have to elevate the physicality a little bit. Look, as a defenseman, if somebody is trying to chip and chase, if somebody's trying to put it through my legs and run by me, I will usually give them a little bit of physicality to let them know that, hey, I wouldn't do that again if I were you, right? And so there you go, right? And so I think that one of the things that they're going to have to do is play sound positionally. Because look, the Siddiqui brothers, it's like, I know Ibrahim's away, but it's like they have like a sixth sense, right? And they embarrassed us the first game of the season, and it was just like, okay, well, you know what? He's rushing, and then all of a sudden the ball goes through my legs, and then it's a tap in. So I think that they're really going to have to make sure that they contain the first line, especially. But then also, I think the recipe now is going to be elevate a little bit physically, and push them off the ball, and then turn it back the other way.
That's going to be a challenge because I think Eclas is a little bit of a smaller size team, right? Yeah, you have Essen Zaidi, who's relatively a strong body that'll just throw guys around. I think they have a few other guys, but just pound for pound, they are an undersized team.
Yeah.
So
and then
both very fast. Both first lines are very fast.
Then my advice would be is, again, if I was a coach here, what I would try to do is I would try to maybe split out some of the speed, and then almost search for a mismatch, right? So once the Yakin top line is off, maybe I put my speedsters on and see if they can take advantage a little bit, right? And I try to really muddy it up when Yakin's first line is on. I try to slow the game down, frustrate, clog up the neutral zone, and then I get my speedy guys on, and then I try to take advantage, right? So that would be a strategy to explore.
Yep. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining. I know it's been
before
long.
we go.
Go ahead.
Because I have my mixer out, and I was going through some of my settings while you guys were talking. I was paying attention, I promise. But there's one guy that I really miss having in our league. Yes. I hope he comes back one day. Yes. And you might know him from this.
Oh my God.
Okay, so I hope he returns. And Yusuf, that one's for you.
I have that one here too.
And he was just playing it before you even got on. So
there you go. See, it's fate. We just need to make a lot of dua, and he'll come back.
Inshallah. All right, gents. Thank you so much, and inshallah, we'll see you guys tomorrow. And looking forward to the games. Should be fun.
All right, boys.
Absolutely.
All right, take care. Assalamu alaikum.
Take care. So.